manage, but we can double check. I know it's using the.
I might be live. I might be live. Me and my good friend here. Me in a room with all my friends. If you can hear me, bark twice if you're in Milwaukee and you're a millennial and get that reference. Not a millennial? Do you know the reference?
I've heard it once before, and it was.
Do you know the movie?
Let's see. Is something from Milwaukee? Is that Tommy Boy?
No, bark twice if you're in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
If anybody can tell me the reference, then you become my favorite listener of the day. Or
you
like
take
just
my
tell
spot
me
as the co-host.
Or just tell me if you can hear us, because again, we are working out. Brian, thank you. We are working out some of the finer details of what we are doing in this world with our new studio, new setup, new year, new us. So we're going to continue to be working out some kinks, and I appreciate you being on this journey with us. Actually, this worked out better for you because I had in my head what I wanted the pre-chat to be. And then I completely abandoned what the pre-chat was going to be and wanted to talk about, I have recently watched the Twilight series, the entire series. I'm actually on the third movie right now.
Which one's that?
Eclipse, like the car. And it's absolute, we can't even talk. Thank you, Brian. Anchorman. Bark twice if you're me. This burrito is delicious, but it is spilling. Anchorman.
I've seen Anchorman. That would not be one of the.
Yes, I'm in a glass box of emotion. That is where that comes from. So thank you, Brian, for once saying something helpful. Anyways, so today, yes. So again, thank you guys for your patience. This is the Medicare Cafe. Usually we start off with some pre-chat. Again, today's conversation was going to be the Twilight Saga. I also have an interesting update that I wanted to adjust that wasn't actually on today's topic, so I'm going to hit two of them. The whole question of the week. I actually have a special answer that I wasn't planning on giving. So today on Medicare Cafe, you're joined by your host. My name's Olivia Richardson.
And I am Benjamin Lavis.
And this is Interpretive Dance with Medicare. We actually did have an agent. You laugh about interpretive dancing and stuff. We did have an agent at one point that was a magician that did magic shows and talked about Medicare in his magic shows.
It just was like, yeah, if you just would look at this application and this, is that your signature? And then walked away.
Yeah, there were some compliance issues with that. So today we're talking about, here's Medicare Cafe. Today we're going to talk about 3 topics. Number 1, the question of the week. What are agents asking our agent resources team, our key accounts team, our outreach team? What are questions that you guys are having? Number 2, tip of the week. What is something that you can do immediately that you're going to start seeing pretty quick sales come from? And number 3, thank you, Captain Obvious. Something that we've been talking about for a while, but we're not doing it yet, so we're going to keep talking about that.
We're just going to push it onto you.
Honestly, when I say Captain Obvious,
think of Captain Underpants.
I knew it. I knew that's where you're going to go.
Oh.
I think of the commercials. I think it's a travel agency commercials where they have a guy dressed up as a captain. His name's Captain Obvious, and he just says very obvious things.
That is a good one, too. Mm-hmm. Or Captain Morgan, if you're more familiar with that one.
How are those meetings going?
They're really well. I almost have a chip.
All right, let's get into it. The question of the week. And this one's actually where I'm going to have a twofer for you. Brian says, interesting, she likes the vampire flicks. She sucks the life out of the show. Brian, appreciate you. Appreciate you always.
We had to balance out the helpful with the even more helpful.
How will the new Trump administration change the IRA? We've gotten this question a lot, and I want to do a little clarification. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, but obviously Donald Trump, if you listen to the debate last August, talking about the IRA, Joe Biden said the words, "We beat Medicare." Mm-hmm. And so what they're actually talking about is the Biden administration's input and beginning of the Inflation Reduction Act. And obviously a lot of that stuff has put a ton of strain. Is what you saw the majority of their issues for 2025, the strain the carriers had happened because of the Inflation Reduction Act. It was a Biden administrative thing. But something happened the immediate time when Trump took office. He started coughing and then reversing a lot of the Biden administrative and executive rulings, executive decisions. One of which was reversing what a lot of people are looking at as the $2 medications. And they're saying that was something that Biden put into effect with his executive order. Trump reversed it almost immediately. Not at all the same thing as the Inflation Reduction Act. There's some smaller things in there, like the $2 medications, things like that, but completely not. Reminder, the Inflation Reduction Act was an act of Congress, which means it will take an act of Congress to reverse the Inflation Reduction Act. So yes, it is something on President Trump's radar and something to be aware of, but it's not as easy as signing a bill to make that happen.
Honestly, a lot of the questions have been like, oh, I saw, because of, exactly how you outlined, they were like, oh, he's getting rid of, insulin.
Yes.
For $35 insulin. Oh, the maximum out of pocket per prescription drug plans is now no longer a thing. And it's, I would say this, and we'd say this kind of around any of these big changes. When there's a change in the market, like we saw during AEP, there are people that try to take that opportunity to get in front of others or seize that opportunity. Newscasters and all that type of stuff are going to try to do a very similar thing. They're going to try to find something that Trump changes prescription drug plan, and like that's super vague. And
punches grandma on the face.
Exactly. Let's eat grandma is different from let's eat, grandma. So. Kind of take it with a spoon of sugar. Is that a thing?
Makes the medicine go down.
Yeah, I see. I know old school movie references too.
That's unfortunate.
Mary Poppins. That's an old one.
Right, and Mary Grunberg, not Mary Poppins, kind of the same. She makes I don't know how to find a way to make Mary Grunberg and Mary Poppins in the same sentence make sense for me.
I am just as excited as I would be to see Mary Poppins fly in when I get to see my lovely agent Mary Grunberg.
Perfect. Nailed that.
Is that not what you're looking for?
So she brings up an excellent point. Trump was one that actually started the $35 insulin. Trump is very pro-national, I'm not going to say regulation, but national low-cost drugs. In fact, he actually was one that is huge into our nation having nation-favored pricing. And again, I'm going to sound very intelligent here. I need you to know I talked to Chalin before this, and he gave me all of these deets. Because I have very intelligent people on the team. Chalin, shout out to you for giving us a lot of this information. So again, Trump, what that means is that Trump is always going to be, he's always wanting to make sure how does America get ahead, right? And a part of that is saying, if Ozempic is going to cost $20 in Europe or the United Kingdom, then it needs to cost $19 in the United States. Always making so that the United States has the lowest cost or the favored cost of drug pricing. So it's likely that Trump is going to continue to look at ways to lower drug costs across the United States. Will that impact the IRA? It's very possible, but remember, it was an act of Congress. Now, here's your twofer for the day. Today, we want to talk about specifically about the IRA and Trump. However, we had some big news come out from the FCC about the one-to-one consent rule.
Ooh.
I want to touch on that for just a second, if I may.
Please do.
So now that
I'm learning.
Now that I have your permission, I don't want to do it.
Oh.
So
I mean, actually, no.
We don't have
the time. Take her off the air.
So the FCC won't let them be free. What I'm talking about is the one-to-one consent rule. So last year in 2024, we understand that Medicare, the CMS actually came out with a TPMO version of the one-to-one consent rule, which means that if you're going to be doing any type of lead generation or any type of advertising, it has to be to an individual person. So Ben can't just put out like a lead form for everybody and says, you want to talk about Medicare? Come talk to me. It has to be, if you want to talk about Medicare, Joe client, come talk to Ben at this agency at this address. One-to-one consent. You're agreeing to only talk to Ben when you fill out that form. CMS adopted that regulation and put into practice for the TPMO regulation whenever the FCC came out with that ruling. CMS just basically like little sistered that and said, yes, me too, please. The FCC has come out. When Donald Trump came into office, he basically said, pause to all of those. Anything that was put into place while I wasn't here.
Pump the brakes.
90 days. Given a 90-day break. The FCC said, you know what? This is actually almost impossible to regulate. We're going to push this back all the way to 2026. And we're basically going to say, we're going to vote, basically saying we're not doing this anymore. The FCC has said we cannot. Yeah, Mary says, little sister, big brother. Exactly. FCC has come out and said we can't regulate this. So the one-to-one consent rule, at least throughout this year, has issued, again, due to this day, we're not going to have to worry about the FCC one-to-one consent rule until at least 2026, most likely not ever.
That's exciting.
However, CMS still has that rule.
Okay.
So the CMS, with regards to TPMO, still has to abide by the 1-to-1 consent rule. So what does that mean?
Yeah.
Number one, that rule has a little less teeth to it.
Okay.
It's still compliance is always going to be concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But so you're talking about your contracts with carriers being on the chopping block, not like a civil lawsuit.
Yeah.
Not hundreds of thousands of dollars of fines.
I remember you being like, hey, this is going to have a lot more oomph behind it. Like, there's a real reason to almost follow it to a T.
To a T.
There is always a rule, follow the rules.
Follow compliance.
But now it's like it was going to be scary.
It was going to be like hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on your size of campaign if you didn't follow the rules. Now you're not going to have that. And Chaylin also mentioned, because again, Chaylin teaches me everything I know when it comes to legislation.
Yeah.
Chaylin also mentioned that because last year, whenever the Americans for Beneficiary Choice, the big party who's responsible for getting a lot of FMOs to stay in the game, essentially, said that when they issued the stay last year, whenever basically that judge in Texas said, with us saying that regulating these overrides, basically saying FMOs can't play a part in this anymore, they issued a stay that was to happen this year.
Mm-hmm.
And when you issue a stay, it's basically saying that there's enough belief that you'll win this lawsuit. That, and again, this is the ABC versus the Human Health Resources, right? Human Health and Center Services. Thank you. So what they're saying now is that it is very likely whenever the ABC issued a lawsuit against this portion of it last year, it was actually denied. They said that not to say that you would lose, the stay was denied. Not to say that you would lose the case, but there wasn't enough evidence to prove that you could win it either. So that's why we continue to see that go into place last year.
Truly neutral.
Yes. Okay. This is basically saying that if the FCC isn't supporting this, it's a huge likelihood that the ABC would win their case now against this portion of the lawsuit.
Okay, question that I don't know if this is in line. Would they shoot to try to have another stay, or would they just go forth with the case?
So likely the stay is basically saying, like, we have a timeline that we can't, there's no way that this can be sorted out before an event happens. Okay. So if it comes down to the wire, again, we're getting into AEP and 2026 marketing, a stay would be appropriate there, right? But usually it's like, can you have a stay so that we have more time and business can continue as normal while this is still up in the air?
Okay. Second question, if I may.
I'm shocked I knew the answer to that one, so please, let's roll the dice, my guy.
Do we think it would be possible for the 2026 presentation that CMS will come out with that they may follow suit with the FCC and maybe pull back that regulation on the 1-to-1?
I think with pressure from like the ABC, NAFAs, NABIPs, with pressure, yes. Because if the FCC is saying there's no way to regulate this, there's no way to, what's it called, police it? What's another word for policing something? Help me with my words. There's no way to make sure that this happens. Enforce. Both of you guys. Why do I pay you? I don't, to be clear.
I'm here for free.
There's no way to enforce it. If the FCC, who has the teeth, is saying there's no way to enforce it,
it just kind of makes sense to follow suit.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it just kind of takes wind out of that sail.
So this is a really good call to action then. Make sure, I know Mary is for sure, but make sure as an agent that you're part of your local chapters being present in your areas, these chapters that are making sure that agents' voices are being heard. Now is a really good time that true action could be made and had on the local level and pressure towards a higher governmental level. So those places always have value, but that value will be more easily seen into physical action potentially this year versus some of the others. So
great way.
Make sure you get into your local communities.
Do it. Get in there. Just get your elbows and get in there. What was my next thing I wanted to talk about? Our tip.
Yes.
This is our tip of the week. This is something that I'm trying to keeping up. What can you do today that you'll start seeing results tomorrow? And this is something that's really, really easy. I highly recommend doing. Start making social media videos on how to use your carrier benefits. I'm going to try it again. Make videos on how to use carrier benefits. And here's why I think that's a great idea. Number one, social media is thriving. Do you know what? And again, we're talking about like we haven't really gotten into the conversation of TikTok right now. We haven't
man.
discussed it a whole bunch.
I could proceed.
You have thoughts?
I have many thoughts. Yeah, I do.
I'm the biggest hypocrite when it comes to TikTok. I'm going to be so honest with you. Not the time to talk about it.
Yeah.
I never downloaded TikTok, never had TikTok. Everybody has told me that Medicare's Cafe needs to be on TikTok. I fought it. Probably to the detriment of Medicare Cafe. I hate TikTok. But I download and buy things from Temu, which I'm directly giving away my contact information. It has to be the same things. Like, I'm such a hypocrite. So I should not have a horse in this race.
Yeah.
But talking about just video content, we know in our world, video is king. It is your worst performing video will outperform, your worst video, your worst content will outperform just a normal post or any type of blog that you have because people want to see pretty and shiny. And it's really easy to do. But the number one thing I think this is awesome. And I think it's awesome more so, not just because it's my idea, but because it really does work. Make a video basically like, hey, do you have this are you a client of mine and you have this United Healthcare plan? Here is how you can go ahead and use the over-the-counter benefits. Let me show you on my phone. Let me do a screen recording. Let me show you my phone. Actually like what buttons to push, how to access this benefit. Or hey, did you just enroll in this plan? Let me show you how to look up your dentist to make sure to set an appointment or to make sure that your dentists are providers. Just videos to show the actual use of that plan. Number one, it's going to engage your people who are actively using you and working with you. It's a touch point. It's providing value. And it's a great way of being like getting referrals of like, oh, I didn't know that a plan had that. Does my plan have that? No? Okay, I need to talk to you about getting on a plan that offers that type of benefit.
It is duplicating your efforts. I think that is one of the things that we talked about a lot last year was going into AEP, you needed to be able to be in multiple spots at once. And unless you figured out cloning, one, talk to me afterwards, but two, it is just not possible to keep up. A video allows a similar service to be done by the agent without taking the time away from an appointment. So how many calls have you gotten? Hey, I haven't gotten my member ID card. A lot of those clients could log into their member portal and access their member card via the portal. So if you want to, find a way to duplicate your efforts, that video can be, what's really cool is it's also like a non-action required activity. So you can send that video out. It is shareable amongst clients. It would lead to a lot more referrals, just like you mentioned. But it is providing the service and the solution to your clients without taking up your time. Yeah. So take the time, and I'll kind of add a couple of things. People are drawn to authenticity. Like being genuine. It does not have to be highly edited. I mean, if we can be on here on YouTube and talk about the way that we talk, then you as an agent would do just perfectly creating a video of sorts and explaining, you guys know this stuff. You've lived this stuff. You guys are professionals and experts in the space. Just be your authentic self. Well, maybe not Brian, but everyone else.
Everyone else. Be your authentic self.
And another kind of quick tidbit, if an app is putting out something new, and a lot of other apps, not just TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all these other ones, all these other social media platforms that you might be on, they started adapting TikTok-like video algorithms. Reels is really big. And so anything that is new to a social media platform, give it a try. It is not like legally known, but it is very well known that social media platforms will push that activity into the algorithm and heighten it because it's using a new feature of theirs. They want people to have success with it.
It's like the first bump for free.
Exactly. Well, I don't...
Talking about bumper cars. Like when you're on a ride, the first bump's free.
Is that bumper
Is that
cars?
not what they meant?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Anyways...
I'm less familiar. As I'm sure that was another Anchorman reference. I just wasn't familiar.
No, it's a bumper car. It's business. It's good business sense.
I only did go-karts.
So, well, that's why. So you're into speed. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What we're trying to say is that the more that you get people to actually use the benefits of their plan, the less likely they are going to shop for plans. We know going into 2026, it's going to be just as much of a crazy AEP as 2025 was because plans are trying to correct themselves. If you can get people to actually utilize the benefits of their plan and be more loyal to that plan, it's less likely that they're going to shop and less likely that they're going to move away from you as their agent. So that's our tip of the week. The last thing we wanted to talk about was the thank you, Captain Obvious. Okay, my favorite. This is probably gonna be my favorite segment of the show moving forward. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Or Catherine Obvious.
Catherine Obvious. Why can women not be captains?
Whoa.
Anyways.
Whoa.
Pop,
Catherine
queen.
could be a male's name.
I don't know. We don't have the time. We just deal with your bumper cars. So what we're talking about when it comes to Medicare Supplement Plan, and you're probably rolling your eyes, I'm going to let you guys know carriers are done investing in Plan G on a Medicare Supplement level. The guarantee issue market has tanked Plan G. It has tanked it. We've seen it. This is not a new content, not new information. You're going to continue to see significant rate increases, specifically on F and G. Where you're not seeing them as grouped in as often is going to be Medicare Supplement Plan N, because more times than not, that still requires medical underwriting. So if you are interested in keeping the MedSup market alive or being able to continue to offer a Medicare supplement product that makes sense, an alternative to Medicare Advantage plans, if you are not willing to look at a Medicare Supplement Plan N, then you're just not going to be selling Medicare supplements. I'm telling you, carriers are begging and pleading for that Plan N business. That's where they're investing. That's where they're trying to keep rates low. That's where they're trying to make sure they can save a product there. So, I would really ask yourself why you're not offering Plan N, because clients who are offering it on our captive side is actually the number one growing product that we have by far. And it's because they're just incorporating new ways of asking if this is a good alternative for you. We actually have on our university a video that one of our top agents made that goes into how do they sell a Medicare Supplement Plan in to somebody who is currently on a G. Yeah. That is on our Medicare University, our SMS Team University. Just go to smsteam.net, click on our training. It takes you to our university. Go to sales training. It's called Ride-Alongs. Mm-hmm. There is a video there on how to sell a plan in to somebody who's already on a Plan G. Super worth it. It's obvious.
It's really good.
It's obvious that we've been talking about this for years now, but now it's kind of getting a little desperate for some Plan in business.
And together, we can just thanks, Captain Obvious.
Thanks, Evan.
Okay, well, on 3. 1, 2.
Thanks, Captain Obvious. Oh, nailed it.
But we also have the really good white note on our AEP toolkit as well. That kind of is a breakdown of what are some of the doctor codes that you may expect from the copays and stuff of that nature. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I'm going to say something controversial.
Ooh, let's hear it.
I have a hard time hearing an agent have strong opinions about the commission levels on F&G for GI if they're not also talking about Plan N.
That's a really great point. Yeah, that's a really, really good point.
Because a lot of the times, Plan N is not lumped in with that. One, because it normally has to go through underwriting. Now, there are also some other options like UHG's Plan Toggle is a really good option. So even if you have someone who can't go through underwriting, those can still be an option. Mm-hmm. I think I'll also say something else controversial. Ooh. I'm going for 2 for 2. This one may sink the ship. Ooh. Maybe, I don't know.
It's a raft, my buddy. The ship's a strong word for what we're providing here.
It's like an inflatable little raft. Perfect. The other part would be, we talked about rafts, and now I forgot what I was going to say. That's like one of my Russian sleeper words.
Raft.
It is raft, and then I just forget everything. Buy some time. I'll see if I can find it.
I did again. Brian has mentioned it several times. I've gotten a text message about it too. This is our office cat, Mr. Business. He will be making more appearances on the shows as well. So, guys, until Ben's train of thought comes around the bend.
I'll put it in the Facebook if I find it. It's another quick, easy plug to join our closed Facebook group, the Medicare Cafe Agents Facebook group, where we try to throw a couple things, and I will see if I can track down that thought, and I'll put it in there.
Perfect. It is fleeting. Kind of like the success of the show. Fleeting. Appreciate you all and your feedback. Please, again, that is my phone number. You can text me at any time. Even if you're watching the recorded version of this, text me at any time. Happy to answer you. Always give you updates. I always try to answer within 24 hours. But appreciate you guys being on today. Appreciate... Because if you guys don't watch, we don't get to do it. So thank you for continuing to watch and continue to be our friend. Let us know if you have any questions that you have. Again, we're going to try to keep this to segments each week and keep this so if you have a question that you want answered, something political legislation that you want broken down, a product you want us to dive into, reach out to us. Either text me any potential topics or, of course, reach out to us on the closed Facebook group, and we're happy to take requests because at the end of the day, we're doing this for you. If it's worth your time to watch it, it's worth our time to do the research for it.
100%.
Cool. All right, guys, let me just check the text. Perfect. All right. So until next time, guys, do we have a webinar to give financial advisors? We do. We have actually a lot of webinars for financial advisors. For you to present to financial advisors, we have, of course, just kind of depends on what you want. Carrie focuses on Medicare 101. That's what presentation she gives to her financial advisors. We do have that. We also have a presentation on the Inflation Reduction Act as well.
Yeah.
So you just got to let us know kind of what you want to teach to them. Talk to Ben. He can give you some really great, like, what other people are doing. This, Ben, I understand. I don't have the energy to be mean. But know that I want to.
I appreciate that.
Want
Yeah,
to.
no, it's felt.
Reach out to us, but yes, we have plenty of presentations that financial advisors really look for.
That's the financial. That is my opposite Russian sleeper word. If you with the Plan F and Plan G, all of the rates going up as high as they are, it's less about medical coverage and sometimes more about financial aspects to that client. So Plan N might be able to help them not have to pull money out of retirement, change their financial situation. If you're not already talking to your clients about their retirement plans and how they're handling those financially, we can talk annuities. I would love to kind of have that type of conversation with you as well. We have a really, really good partner in Retirement Realized. So we are seeing more now than ever a meld of the finance and medical side. And so one can help alleviate the pressure from another. That was where I was. I found it. It was hiding. That's why I looked over there.
Like you,
in this bush.
Sleeper word, finance.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So until next time, have fun.
Make money and give